All right, here we go. So welcome to the Delaney Student Union's training for our online reservation system called EMS Web App. My name is Katie Ayers, and I'm the event planning specialist in the John A. Delaney Student Union. I know most of y'all, but want to put that out there in case there are some new faces. So today we're going to walk through how to access Web App, view space availability, request a reservation, including rooms, equipment, and services, edit an existing reservation, view the status of a request, and cancel an entire reservation or individual bookings. This is the EMS web app homepage. On the left side are a list of helpful links for planning a meeting or event. To access web app, you must have an account granted by the Delaney Student Union Administration. To request an account, you can submit an account request through the link on the sign-in page, which is right here.
You're fine, you're fine. Oh. Tomorrow?
For the requesting a web app account page, we will need your full name, your N number, phone number, email, and the organization you are representing, so the department. Account requests are processed during business hours. UNF student groups are limited to 3 active accounts at any given time, which would be 2 officers and 1 advisor. Departments have no limit on the number of faculty and staff with active accounts. This request an account button is not enabled, so you would need to, again, use this link down here. Then you would click sign in, and when prompted, enter your UNF N number and MyWings password, which are the same credentials for your EMS web app account. You may be prompted to complete Duo 2-factor authentication at this time. After successfully logging in, the window changes to show your My Home tab and offers options for creating reservation requests, viewing your existing bookings, and helpful links. You will notice blue question marks in certain places, which you can click on to find tips and instructions. And here is one. Here, under My Reservation Templates, you will see a list of what types of requests you can make. All groups can register for market days once we are holding those again. Request a medium or large indoor event space. Request a small meeting room. Request an outdoor event space, or request tabling. Certain groups may have additional reservation templates assigned dependent on their space permissions. Each template specifies booking rules that apply, such as how far in advance you must submit the request. You can view the rules by clicking the About button next to the template. So as you can see here, each template specifies the booking rules, and in this template, reservations can be canceled through web app up until 2 days prior to the event at 5 p.m. and new requests using this template must be submitted at least a week in advance. So now let's talk about the structure of a reservation to explain some of the terminology we'll be using. What is the difference between a reservation and a booking? A reservation consists of 1 or more bookings. Every booking belongs to a reservation. You can have multiple bookings under a single reservation. A reservation is the who and the what of an event, and a booking is the where and the when of an event. For example, you can see under my test reservations, you can see this test reservation first. The reservation is the what, so test reservation, and it's been requested by the user, the Delaney Student Union Administration, which is the who. Each reservation has a unique ID number to identify it, which is also the reservation number that some of y'all may be familiar with. This reservation's ID is here, and it is 122437. If you go down to the bookings section, you can see this reservation for test reservation contains multiple bookings, which are the when and the where. The first date is May 6th from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. in the ballroom, which is all down here. The reservation has one additional booking, which is also in the ballroom on May 7th. If you click on View Services underneath one of the bookings, it can have multiple booking details associated with it. Booking details are the resources, so the equipment and technology for the event, or the services, which are the people that are needed, as well as notes, activities, and room charges for the event. Resources could include furniture, so the tables and chairs, and audio-visual, plus the services of a dedicated event services assistant to actually run the audio-visual and an activity like, let's say, poster making. So now going back to the beginning, this main page, we're going to walk through how to actually request a reservation. So first you would click on Create a Reservation in the left-hand menu. Next, think about the type of reservation you would want to request and choose the reservation template that best matches it. For example, an outdoor amphitheater movie night or a field day on the green would be requested through the Request an Outdoor Event Space template. A ballroom banquet, meeting room for a larger group, or a speaker in the auditorium would be requested through the Request a Medium or Large Indoor Space template. Conference rooms for smaller groups would be requested through the Request a Small Meeting Room template. Tabling on the green or the library walkway would be requested through the Request Tabling template. And then a pageant where you may need the auditorium for the main event, as well as a small meeting room for a changing area and a storage room to hold event decorations and supplies the day before and after, would be requested through the Request Multiple Event Spaces template. For this training, let's start with something simple. So we'll do a small meeting room. And y'all would have the options of departments. You can see that I have all of the templates, but it would be Request a Small Meeting Room departments. And click Book Now. On this screen, we would first select the date and times that you would like to reserve. So if you click the calendar icon, you can search for a date. Today's date will be flagged by a blue triangle, as you can see right here. The selected date will automatically default to the earliest date that you are permitted to book the space according to the student union's request deadlines. And that shows right here. Outdoor tabling and small meeting rooms must be requested 3 business days in advance. Medium meeting rooms, ballroom, auditorium, and outdoor non-tabling events must be requested 7 days in advance or 1 full week. Although Web App will allow you to request spaces up until the deadlines I just mentioned, there are some event components that may require more advanced notice to accommodate. These include amplified sound outdoors, the catering kitchen, security, third-party vendor involvement, and special work orders like a lift to hang decorations on the amphitheater. The earlier you submit the request, the more likely the student union will be able to make this happen for you. So now we're actually going to select a date, choose a date, a start time and end time. And I just selected a date that I think will have some available rooms, and I'm keeping the start and end time as is. Click search. And also you'll be able to indicate your preferred arrival time for your own setup and departure time after your breakdown later in the process. So this is the time of the actual event. Available rooms will appear under the room search results in the list view. If the search does not return any results, then there is no availability for those dates and times. Adjust the date, the start time, and/or the end time and search again. The schedule view is shown to see a calendar of availability for spaces, which can be helpful in choosing available times. Although a room may appear to be available in the schedule view for the start and end time you want, each room has setup and tear down windows of time associated for student union staff to set and reset the room. These windows are 0 minutes for most tabling locations, 30 minutes for the small meeting rooms and Osprey Plaza tabling, 60 minutes for the auditorium, medium meeting room, and events on the amphitheater, green, and Osprey Plaza, and then 90 minutes for the ballroom. Try adjusting your start and end times earlier or later if web app won't allow you to select a room. And then going back to the list results, to request a recurring booking, such as a weekly or monthly meeting, you can click on this recurrence button to book multiple dates efficiently. Note that the same equipment, setup, and services you select will be applied to all of these recurring bookings. So now I'm just going to choose, let's do weekly. And the first date was on a Tuesday, so we'll keep it every Tuesday just for, let's say, 1 week. So you can see that there's 2 occurrences now, same start and end time, and click apply reoccurrence. The room name, location, floor, maximum capacity, and price will display. When using recurrence, the number of your preferred dates that are available in each space is shown in the available column, sorted by most to least matches. You can click on the name of any room to view details, available setups, features, and images of that space. So here's an example: the room details, setup types, features, images, and then availability. Once you have located a room to request, you would click the green add icon to add the booking to your cart. You can remove or change the room before finalizing your reservation request. You can also add more than 1 room here, but note that if you do, all selected rooms will have the same setup, equipment, and services applied. So I'm going to go ahead and add this room. A new window will appear. For number of attendees, enter the number of people you need to accommodate at any given time in chairs. This is important to remember, as it's not necessarily the total expected attendance. For example, if you expect 200 people to attend an involvement fair, but only need chairs for the 30 vendor participants, you would enter 30 for the number of attendees. You will indicate your total expected attendance later in the process. So we'll just do 6 for now. Next, choose the setup type that best matches the configuration you need. Only setups that are possible in this particular room will display. So for this one, it's just closed conference. And click Add Room. The room will show under the Selected Rooms section. To delete the room, you can click this red minus button here. To edit the number of attendees or setup, you would click here. And once you complete all required fields on the Rooms tab, you would click Next Step in the upper right-hand corner. So we'll just add 3602 for now. Services are the equipment, audiovisual, activities, special staffing, and any other available add-ons you want to associate with the room. If you have no items to add, click Next Step to skip this page. And that would be right here. But for now, we are actually going to add the services, so I'll go back. And the way I went back was by clicking services instead of the back button. The back button is not the best way to go back in this process. So now we'll click an item to add it. So we'll do the basic AV package, which some of you may be familiar with. A new window will appear. And like I said, this package has individual components, which is the computer podium and the room projector with the screen. So the package is listed here, and then the individual components are down here. Choose the quantity of the item needed. If you are unsure of the number or type of tables and chairs needed for your setup, you can leave them off at this time. you'll be able to tell us specific setup requests later in the process. Student union staff will add the necessary tables and chairs for when they're reviewing the request. So we just want one of these packages. And sorry, I'm gonna go back. There is also a special instructions box where you would provide any details requested in the above instructions here. You may also specify in this box any requests you have for the items like configuration or placement in the room. So because this is just the audio, we don't need to add any special instructions this time, and you just click OK. The item will show under the services summary section, which is right here. You can edit the quantity with the pencil icon, or you can delete the item with the red minus icon. If you scroll down, you can see this special activities section. And be sure to select any special activities you plan to do, such as showing a movie, pie in the face, or other types of physical activity so that we can advise you on the required guidelines. When finished, click Next Step. All right, so next, the Reservation Details tab finalizes information about your request. The event name you enter will display publicly on room cards and event schedules in the student union. So for this one, we'll just do department test meeting. Next, you would choose the event type, which best describes your reservation. And there are a couple options all under the SU, but for this instance, we'll do SU meeting because that makes the most sense. Choose the user or organization for which you are requesting a space. So we'll keep it Delaney Student Union Administration. The first contact should be you. So I will change that to me. And then the second contact for all student groups must be your advisor, but because this is department training, it can be either another person in the department or just you don't need a second contact in a department. So I'll just go ahead and choose Heather. And then you can click on the magnifying glass icons to search for additional options, which are located right here. And you can see all of these options. If your organization or a contact is not listed in the drop-down, email the Student Union Administration Office to have it added. You will need to pause in the request process for that to be completed. Then if you move down to attachments, you would upload any relevant documents such as a sketch of your desired layout, an agenda or program, or vendor liability insurance. The additional information section is where you will tell us all the remaining details about your reservation not captured already. So I'll go down and complete each of these. Describe the nature of your event, including activities involved. We'll just do staff meeting. Next, estimated attendance. We will say 6. Will the event involve any of the following? Select all that apply. Any of these: amplified sound, food, physical activity, security. We're going to say none for now. Who will attend your event? Select all that apply. UNF faculty and staff. There's also a student section or external community members. Will this event be advertised? No. What time will you arrive to set up? So I did a 10:30 to 11:30 meeting. So we'll say we are arriving at 9:30 and we'll vacate after cleaning up at 12:30 p.m. Next, please describe your desired setup. Let's see. We will just do a classroom setup. Will admissions be charged? No. Will you be selling any items? No. Will donations be accepted? We'll say no. And then please describe any additional requests you may have. Going back up to the estimated attendance, which was here. If the number is different from the number of chairs needed that you entered earlier in the number of attendees field, that's where you would specify it. When you get to the bottom and you have completed all of the sections, click on the terms and conditions link at the bottom of the page. These are the terms you are agreeing to when submitting a request. Next, check the box, then click the green Create Reservation button. Oop, I missed one. Do you need days for loading in or out equipment? We will say no, it's just a meeting. Sometimes if it's a concert or something like that, then you would need some additional time. Sorry, I think someone needs to click mute. Do you need any additional days for loading in or out equipment? If it's a concert on the amphitheater and you're using third-party vendors, you may need some additional days or times to complete that setup. So like I said, next we will create the reservation. So this screen will validate that your request was submitted and offer options and other actions you can take. So click OK. As mentioned earlier in the training, you may want to add to this same reservation additional rooms which need different setups, times, or equipment. This would be the time to do that. So click on Edit Reservation. In this top section, you can change reservation details, additional information, and attachments previously entered by clicking on the blue pencil icon here. In the reservation tasks section, you can add or cancel services in bulk. This is the best way to adjust multiple bookings at one time. So that would be, that would be right here, the reservation tasks section. So add services, cancel services, booking tools. After you've selected a service to add, click next step and then check off the bookings you want to add it to. So sorry, let me go ahead and do that. Add services. And we'll say that we want to add a whiteboard and marker set. And we just want one of them. So click OK. And now you click the next step that I was referring to and check off the bookings you'd like to add it to. So we will do both of the bookings and click Add Services. All right, so here are all bookings currently added to this reservation. If you click on View Services below a booking, you can see what items are assigned to it. If you click on Manage Services, this is how you would cancel, add, or edit items for the booking. You can delete an item with the red minus icon or edit with the blue pencil icon. When finished, you would click on the blue Reservation Details button to return to the reservation. The services would then be added or deleted. So let's just say, I'm going to go ahead and delete this whiteboard. And you can see that it's been taken away, and we go back to reservation details. All right. To add more rooms or bookings, you would click on the New Booking button. And now this screen should look familiar. Follow the same process as we did earlier to search for available rooms. Only rooms associated with the chosen reservation template will display. For example, if you use the small meeting room template, you won't see the auditorium, ballroom, or outdoor spaces in the search. If you realize you do actually need to add different types of rooms to the reservation, you have a few options. You can cancel this reservation and create a new one using the multiple event spaces template, or you can indicate in this reservation's additional information section that you do need other rooms, and student staff will assist you with adding those when they are reviewing the request. To keep this training short, I won't add more bookings right now. Click the name of the reservation at the top to go back to the previous screen. So I would click Department Test Meeting right here. To bulk change the times or dates of existing bookings, You can click Booking Tools to make those updates quickly. And I will briefly show this page, but I'm not going to make any other changes, so I'm going to click the reservation name again. To cancel the entire reservation, you can click Cancel Reservation right here. And I'm not going to actually do it, but you would need to enter a cancellation reason and any notes if necessary. You can either click the X or No Keep Reservation. To cancel individual bookings, scroll down to the bookings section and click the red minus icon next to a booking, which would be here or here. You may make cancellations through WebApp up to 2 business days prior to the event date. If you need to cancel after that time, you would need to contact the Student Union office to request the cancellation. To see an overall summary of your request, click on the View Reservation Summary button. The request summary will also be automatically emailed to the first and second contacts you selected. As you can see, it looks kind of similar to a contract, but it is not your official contract. And I will go back again. After you submit the reservation, Student Union staff will review your request within 24 to 48 business hours and contact you with next steps in order to confirm your reservation. This includes answering questions and signing and returning the contract by the deadline. Once we have reviewed your request, it will be moved to the next step in the process, which is called tentative or tentative shared space status. You cannot make changes to your equipment or services through WebApp at this time, and you would need to contact the Student Union by email to request any updates you cannot make through WebApp. Next, if you click on My Events, you can view the status of a request. A list of your future reservations will show. So you can see all 3 of the reservations here. The status column shows the current status of your reservation. So they are all requested to be approved right now, which means you can still make changes to the reservation on your end. Bookings that have this status are waiting to be reviewed by the Student Union administration staff, as well as the shared space requested status. You may make any number of updates to these bookings during this stage. Once your request has been reviewed, again, it will receive that tentative or tentative shared space status. You should receive communication in the near future from your Student Union event coordinator, which in this case would be me, regarding next steps for confirming your event. Lastly, to log out, you click the drop-down arrow under your name in the upper right-hand corner of the EMS web app window and select Sign Out. So now this concludes the web app training content.